Shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Shalom, shalom, beloved. We are going to study the introduction and possibly go a little bit further with, that was 2 years ago, with the book, The Smoky God. Some of you may know we had already talked about this. We had already talked about this issue 2 years ago. So let's play this while I'm getting ready.
On his let's look at the astrology, everybody. Solar eclipse, 25th of October, what a total turning point. Two things in the chart show us this very clearly. First of all, Sun is eclipsed in his debilitated sign of Libra, and he is eclipsed with Venus exactly combusted and conjunct here. Venus is Lord of Libra. When the dispositor, Lord of the eclipse, is also eclipsed, this is a dramatic turning point, but there's another factor as well. Only one planet is truly exalted in this sign, gives the best results. It is Saturn, and this time he is having a dramatic 10th aspect right onto this eclipse, saying that this is a karmic turning point from which there is no going back. Now, Libra is a sign of decision, where you weigh things up on those scales. Libra is the scales. But unfortunately, most Librans, by the way, have a big difficulty making decisions. And when you have a solar eclipse in this sign, everybody will be gripped with indecision, because the sudden events and changes taking place at the solar eclipse seem to demand action. It's probably a good thing that we don't take it straight away. So whatever you do around the end of October, let events unfold. Don't take precipitous action. But it isn't just about personal decisions, everyone, because the sun rules governments and leaders, the king, if you like. And the sun is in the sign of his debilitation and eclipsed. So governments may be not able to react properly to difficult and crisis situation which may develop around solar eclipse. Governments are also gripped with indecision. However, all of this changes on the 8th of November, the 7th, 8th of November, when events that happen around the lunar eclipse will dramatically force action from governments and from everybody, because it's an emotional cathartic factor. And most importantly, it's going to involve a complete new direction forced on everybody by Saturn. Shani is now driving this whole eclipse. Can you see, everybody? He is squaring exactly the sun, exactly the moon. He is having the power of the karmas. And in this T-square formation, Saturn's sight is definitely set on the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the sign of the home, country, security, well-being, mother, feeling that we belong. So everybody's sense of belonging is being shook up, okay? So everybody's going to feel quite insecure around this lunar eclipse, but a new direction in everybody's life, giving correct place, correct security is going to come out of this difficult and challenging situation. So property deals, buying, selling property, landed interest, all of these things are completely up in the air and very unstable of this lunar eclipse. Same goes for all business and financial dealings, because Mercury has now left his own sign and is actually combusted exactly with the sun in this lunar eclipse. So do not take any new business deals, financial transactions, stock market dealing. It's all going to be completely unstable and totally unpredictable. And of course, because of Mercury's involvement in the eclipse, travel also becomes very difficult and subject to all sorts of confusion and delays. Finally, but definitely not of least importance, I've just shown you how the solar eclipse highlighted Europe in a huge way, and Russia also. Now, this solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, is a cycle of events going together, directly impacting the Ukraine war situation in a dramatic way, and also the chart of Vladimir Putin. Let's have a quick look at this. Here are the charts of Ukraine itself, with the D1 birth chart on this side and the Navamsa D9 here. In the yellow boxes are the houses of the eclipse. As you can see, in the D1 birth chart, it's highlighting 5th, 11th house, but the 5th house contains Aries. Aries is the Aruda Lagna. This is a very special thing in the Vedic system. It is like another ascendant, your face, which you show to the world. For the Ukraine, it's in the sign of Aries. So Ukraine shows a fighting spirit, definitely, to the world. But this is what is being eclipsed at this time. So eclipse on Aruda Lagna is very similar to eclipse on ascendant. And please note that in the D9 chart, the eclipse does occur in Libra on the ascendant, where Rahu and Ketu are a total turning point. And Saturn, as I've just shown you, is driving the whole eclipse for everyone. In the Ukraine chart, he's in the 2nd house, giving a sati effect because the moon is there. That's been there for some time, but now Saturn is in this eclipse almost exactly conjunct the moon as he comes to the final part of his Capricorn transit. And the moon rules the 8th house in the Ukraine chart, the house of trauma, crisis, transformation. It's a difficult turning point for certain. And look at the D9 chart where it is mirrored, because Saturn is with Mars now, transiting natal Mars, lord of the enemies of the warfare situation in the homeland, and setting off this ascendant-descendant eclipse cycle. And of course, as I've just shown you, Saturn is looking at Cancer. Cancer in the D9.
As I'm advancing in age, my eyes are starting to fail me. That's right. That's what's going on. Forgive me, brethren. There are a lot of folks that I haven't hit my emails in like 3 days now. Is that what that is? I'm not quite sure. Is that thing recording while I'm here? Give me a one if you can hear me and see me well. Give me a one if you can hear me and see me well. Then again, beloved, we are going to go into this. We're going to study the Smoky God, the book. I'm reading the PDF for some odd reason. I have no idea what I did with the. Well, I didn't look anyway, so I barely look. I'll only look into one bookshelf. So we will read the PDF here. Come on, you. There you go. Huh. Good. All right. We will read the PDF here. This book used to be a massive book. They reduced it to 198 pages. It used to be a massive, giant 500 pages books, and they took they just left vague information in there. Things like they got some dudes telling some story. Some dude tells some story, and he went inside of the earth. He saw a bunch of stuff, and that's it. No details. Okay, no details. All right. Let's just put this right here. There you go. All right, Bridge. Oh, you got 74 pages? Yes. Some of them are less, some of them are more. Mine is 192 pages. Some of them are 74 pages. There is one that is couple of hundred pages. The more pages you can get, try to get it, because what they do, like all the other books, they have taken most of the information out, or they just literally, what they do, they switch the information. Okay, they switch. It's a pamphlet. It's just a pamphlet. That's what they made it. They switched the information. Above all, they just perverted it. Anytime you're reading a book, they say there's a great white race hidden in some place. You already know what they mean. You already know what they mean. There's a great white race that don't want to get nowhere near white folks. They are so technologically advanced. They don't want to share this thing with the other white brethren. You know, they don't want to come to they don't want to reveal themselves. They don't want to do anything. That's how great they are. Like Versailles stories. The 100-year war. We haven't gone into depth and study the 100-year war because it's all gobble. It's all gobble up. It's everything is just perverted. The way this thing happened, those people made it seems like this guy, the French are fighting the English for 100 years. And that's not what it was. As our people being too proud, fighting each other, killing each other for no freaking reason. Just like they are doing now. Now, brethren, then again, like we said all the time, we said most of the time, like we said all of the time and most of the time, those books, they may not be for you. Certain of the information that we are going to bring here, they may not be you may not be comfortable listen to them, because some people, it will shatter the world. Thank you. Somebody just gave something I couldn't see. Thank you, the sister Deborah Dunmore, for the super sticker. All right. Thank you. We will move in with this. All right. Then again, full disclosure, full disclaimer. If you have any issue with other books, I will advise you to leave. And one thing that we will not accept here, and people come over there in our midst and our little gathering to bully us. If you're a troll, of course, you will not be tolerated. If you come here, you keep posting scripture as if everything that we are saying, we have to bind by those scriptures that you post, which you have no idea what it meant. You just know the exoteric. If you come here, you are causing disturbance in the chart. We have people that will literally take you off in it. We will not be bullied. We will not be dismayed nor confused. We will study. Beloved, let us begin. This is the book, The Smoky God. Now, this book, it is, we will read the foresaid word, the foreword. This book was what they're trying to make it seems. They're trying to turn that off. There you go. They try to make it seems like this guy was either crazy or the story is made up. They're trying to make it crazy, or it has no scientifical backed up, no big what they call those Harvard Negroes didn't come here with their degrees and say, well, I'm professor this, I spent whatever in Harvard, Yale University, all those pristine schools, and then what he said, I value him and stuff like that. They will just that's what they do. They PhD scumbag, all those accredited, and they make it look like this thing. It doesn't have any credit, so why should we pump it up? Okay, so again, you're gonna have to listen to yourself, and then you will make your decision to know if this is true or if this is real. All right. Remember, anything that has to do with our people, it will be diminish, it will be scientists. We're science over here. We're scientists. We disagree. I disagree. Well, Black Irish, I disagree with that. And then people will seek their approval. They will seek their validation. We're not about this. We just tell you what it is. You do your research. You do your thing. We will begin on page. This book is all pages are different. It will show you how much they mod the whole book. Okay, the Smoky Guide, or a voyage to the inner world. All right. He is the God who sits in the center of the navel of the earth, and he is the interpreter of religion to all mankind. That's their boy Plato. You know those guys love Plato. Oh, Plato talk about Atlantis and Atlantis, Plato and stuff. Plato was just a dude like us, like a student. He was just a guy. Plato was just some dude they let sit outside the temple, and then he closely listening, and then cobble up things together, and then go to a bunch of people that don't know anything, and then make himself look so wow. When this guy's speaking, you're like, "Are you a master?" No, you got them right. I'm a master. Yo, I got my. You know what? A true master didn't do have his students. Let me build this university here over there, and then taking money from you guys. That's what Plato was doing. Plato was just a student. He went to quote unquote so-called Egypt, which has nothing to do with the Egypt that they're telling you. He just learned just like we are learning. All right. So, part 1, the author's forward. I fear, this is the author, okay, that are saying and writing this book. I fear the seemingly incredible story which I am about to relate will be regarded as the result of distorted intellect, super-induced, possibly by the glamour of unveiling a marvelous mystery, rather than a truthful record of the unparalleled experiences related by one Olaf Jensen. Now, Olaf Jensen is the old fellow that went over there inside of the earth, so to speak. He was the guy who's telling the story. He's telling the story to a young man, and the young man is writing the book according to Olaf Jensen. You know, they had to change the name. Olaf Jensen. Olaf, yes, son, Norwegian. Yeah. White. Yeah. We got that right. All right. By one of Olaf Jensen. You know what? Let me put this right here. Kill it, bullets thing. Slipping. Is it because? Oops. You know what? Let me put this. Put those forms over there. It shouldn't be. There we go. Good. By one of Olaf Jensen, whose eloquent madness so appealed to my imagination that all thoughts of analytical criticism has been effectually dispelled. Marco Polo will doubtless shift uncasily, uncasily, and his grave as the strange story I'm called upon the chronicle, a story of strange as a Munchausen's tale. It is also incongruous. Why do they have to use all those big words? It is also, it shows you that they perverted this thing. It is also incongruous that I, a disbeliever, should be the one to edit the story of Olaf Jensen. They already told you they edit the story, okay? Whose name is now for the first time given to the world. Yet, who must hereafter rank as one of the notables of earth. I freely confess his statements admit of no rational analysis, but have to do with the profound mystery concerning the frozen north that for centuries has claimed the attention of scientists and laymen alike. Okay, when they say laymen, scientists and laymen alike, laymen and this in this instance is a term for the layman, magician, known man, anybody that deal with energy. Okay. However, much there are variants with the cosmographical manuscripts of the past. These plain statesmen may be relied upon us as a record of the things Olaf Jensen claims to have seen with his own eyes. Okay. 100 times I have asked myself whether it is possible that the world's geography is incomplete and that the startling narrative of Olaf Jensen is predicated upon the demonstrable facts. Yes, the whole geography is highly incomplete. The Most High lets you see and know the land that He wants you to know. He ain't gonna let you have the whole earth to destroy, man. Okay, the earth is like our body. You just know the surface, and the surface of your body. The biggest organ is on your body is your skin, but the most important organ in your body or inside of your body, your heart, your liver, your kidney, um, your brain, everything that is important. It is protected inside of your body. So does the earth, because you are molded from her. Your body is hollow, so does the earth. Your body is shape is not like a piece of paper. You are a three-dimensional person. Inside your body, there's all sort of things. Inside of this earth, there are all sort of things. In your blood cell, there's like 1 billion, more over 1 billion blood cell in your body, just like inside of this earth. There are over billions of other things, elements, minerals, things they never know, things they don't know exist. That's why the first thing when you see in the alien movie, when they capture an alien, they don't study the alien skin. They don't study their skin. They have to cut this alien open to see what's in it. It is inside of you that decide what make you work. There's a proper name they call it. Autopsy. Is that what that is? They when they caught one of those alien. That's why when people die, they have to do an autopsy and they have to look and examine, go inside of that person. I don't know. Am I a doctor here? Autopsy? I guess they have to perform an autopsy to see what's inside of you. Inside of you dictate everything. When somebody die of alcoholism, they don't sniff his mouth or just look at his skin or look at he doesn't look like an alcohol. Okay, they are going to go inside of you and see your liver and things how well they work because those things are inside. Your inside is well protected. You see, there's a reason why if your heart were on the surface of your body, you would have known too much of anyone. The moment you see them, you could see their heart, you could see how it beat. When you ask him a question, you can see the rapidity and the heart stay inside. Okay, that's why the earth, most of the important things are inside of it. That's why if you need anything on the earth, anything good that's you want from the earth, it has to come outside, inside of the earth. When you plant your seed, the seed have to go inside of the earth and germinate it there and pop up outside and give you fruit. If you want water, you have to dig a hole and then go into the entrails of the earth to gain the water to drink it. Well, this stuff. The spring water, the water is coming from under the earth and pop outside and give you fresh spring water. It's coming inside. Okay, the earth, everything that most of the things that are good came from inside. If you're digging somewhere in the earth and then you hit something and then you look at it, it's gold, it's silver, precious mineral, or plain oil. It's inside of the earth. The best thing are inside. When those people came in, what did they make us do? What did they make our ancestors do during chattel slavery? They made them work the earth, plant inside of it, go inside of the caves, the mines, to go get things. The surface is beautiful, but the riches are inside of this earth, the earth and under the sea. The sea has more. I will leave it right here. Let's continue. Yet I am at loss. Yet sometime, if oh well, no, so the reader may be able to answer these queries to his own satisfaction. However, further chronicler of this narrative may be from having reached a conviction. Yet sometimes, even I am at loss to know whether I have been led away from an abstract truth by the ignis fatui of clever superstition. I believe ignis, somebody define it's Latin, ignis fatui. I believe ignis is to ignite, fatui is it false? It's a quote, okay? By the ignis fatui, in Latin ignis fatui. Okay, IGNES, and fatui is FATUI. It's something, it's a Latin saying like errare humanum est. Yeah, we make mistake. Man is mistake. Man is error. Man make mistake. Errare humanum est. Ignis fatuit, something like that. So, of clever superstition, or whether hitherto for accepted facts are after all. Okay, that's what that means. Something deceptive or deluded. Ignis fatui, something deceptive or deluded. Ignis fatui, a light that sometime appear in the night over marshy ground and often. No, that's ignis, but it's ignes. Ignis fatui. There's ignis and ignis. Ignis is light, ignis is fire. And let me go, of course, a little bit. I created four superhero, two twin sister. One name is Floga, the other name is Flosha, and I created two male, two twin. The other one is Ignis. Ignis mean to ignite. All four of them, they have firepower. They like the Human Torch. Floga Flosha, they read. I would a whole thing where Floga Flosha destroy the entire planet, just burn it to the ground. It was an ice planet. The ice people were fighting the fire people and stuff like that. Crazy things. Okay. Yes, so that's what that means. There's ignis and ignis, all right? Deceptive, okay? Whether therefore accept facts are found upon falsity, it may be that the true home of Apollo was not in Delphi, but in that older earth center of which Plato speaks, which he says Apollo's real home is among the Hyperborean in a land of perpetual life. Okay, so what they are telling you here, they said, when they just what they do, they swagger jack our stuff and they put Greek names on it. Okay, which those people don't know anything about Greek. They didn't speak Greek. We have to teach them how to speak languages. So they say Apollo here, home is probably was not was not in Delphi or Delphi. It was inside of the earth. Okay, Apollo real home is among the Hyperboreans. Okay, the Hyperboreans are known as some of the inhabitants that were dwelling in the subterranean worlds. In a land of perpetual life, where mythology tells us two doves flying from the two opposite ends of the world met in the fair region, the home of Apollo. Again, when anytime you heard them talking about Apollo, they're talking about the sun. Okay, Apollo was like the god of the sun, if I'm not mistaken. In some Greek mythology, it is depicted on the chariot, and the chariot is pulling the sun. If you watch the movie Hercules, the cartoon Hercules, you will see Apollo. He's Apollo, quote unquote, is a Shemeshite, so to speak, for lack of a better term. All right. Indeed, according to Hecatarius Leto, the mother of Apollo was born on an island in the Arctic Ocean, far beyond the North Wind. It is not my intention to attempt a discussion of the theogony of the deity, nor the cosmology of the world. Thank you, beloved sister Carpeton, for the super sticker. My simple duty is to enlighten the world concerning here, there to therefore unknown portion of the universe. as if it was seen and described by the old Norseman Olaf Jensen. Now, again, they have to give this guy, he was a Norseman. He was a Norseman named Olaf Jensen. When in fact, this dude could be an ex-slave, because this story happened in 1800. It could be a runaway slave, because when they tell you the story, like, what the hell, this story doesn't make any sense. This dude looked like he was a runaway slave that stumbled upon his own people. He lived there for a few hundred years and then he came back. But they give some white dude, Norseman, well, yeah, whatever. All right, so okay, by the whole Norseman, Olaf Jensen, interested in northern research, is international. 11 nations are engaged in or have contributed to the perilous work of trying to solve Earth's one remaining cosmological mystery. There is a saying, ancient as the hills, that truth is stranger than fiction. Yes, it is. And in most startling manner, as this axiom being brought home to me within the last fortnight. And one fortnight is 2 weeks, right? Is that what that is? When they say you have, I should be back in a fortnight. Fortnight is 2 weeks, 14 days. Is that what that is? Somebody double check this. They're not talking about the game Fortnite. If we have any young one in the midst, they actually talking about the days. The fortnight mean 2 weeks, 14 days. That, at least that's what I read somewhere. It was just 2 o'clock in the morning when I was aroused from a restful sleep by the vigorous ringing on my doorbell. The untimely disturber proved to be a messenger bearing note, Seral, almost to the point of illegibility, from an old Norseman by the name of Olaf Jensen. After much deciphering, I made out the writing, which simply said, "I am ill unto death come." The call was imperative, and I lost no time in making ready to comply. So this dude was in his house, okay? He was just chilling in his house, and then in the middle of the night, and then he heard a knocking on his door. Somebody was breaking down his door, and he came in. The guy that was doing knocking on his door was a messenger. Back then, I believe in the early late 18, excuse me, whatever that time was, they didn't have cell phone. They didn't have stuff. Most of the messages, you have to send a messenger to go deliver this message. A doorman or a mailman, he has to wrote it, and then that guy was raining, and then the letter was all mashed. So the dude knocked on the door, he took the letter from him, and when he looked at it, he said, the letter, read, "I'm deathly ill. I'm about to die. Come, and I need to talk to you." Something like that. So I lost no time. I comply and making ready to comply. Okay. Perhaps I may as well explain here that Olaf Jensen, a man who quite recently celebrated his 95th birthday. Okay. Olaf Jensen by that time was 95 years old. All right. Has for the last half a dozen years been living alone in an unpretentious bungalow out of Glendale Way, a short distance from the business district of Los Angeles, California. Now, understand this back then, brethren. In the 1800, 1900, whatever 100 that is, Los Angeles, of course, some of you may know, the entire Los Angeles was owned by a sister. Our people used to live in Los Angeles. It's just right now people are talking about, oh, LA, as if they own LA. Or the whole Beverly Hills. It does come the name Beverly Hills. I believe the sister name was Beverly, and then the whole thing was called Beverly Hills. She literally owned it. Just like those people come, they see you on something, they just bully you out of the town they took it. Okay, that's what they did. And then so most of the people out there, when it comes out, people most of the 83 don't stay in the hood. And this guy told you right there, okay, that's how you know this fellow that they're talking about was one of our people. His name was an Olaf Jensen. It could be too, you people butcher this thing. Okay, all right, let me read this for you. All right. Olaf Jensen, a man who quite recently celebrated his 95th birthday, has the last half dozen years been living, the last half dozen here. I don't know. They could have said the last 6 years, but whatever. The last half dozen. You see, when you're reading this thing, you're like, okay, what the hell is this? You people are making the last half dozen. You're going to say the last 6 years. Well, whatever. All right, the last half dozen years been living alone in unpretentious bungalow out Glendale Way in a short distance from the business district of Los Angeles, California. Okay, close in the hood. It was less than 2 years ago, while walking on an afternoon, that I was attracted by Olaf Jensen's house and his home-like surrounding. Okay, now this dude is telling you one of the main reasons why this Olaf Jensen fellow contact him, because 2 years ago, he's telling how he met him. 2 years ago, he was just doing a little walking and stuff like that. He had met this fellow. Okay, he had met Olaf Jensen. All right. After oops. I was attracted by Olaf Jensen's house and its home-like surrounding, towards his owner and occupant, who I afterward came to know as believer in the ancient worship of Odin and Thor. Okay, believer of ancient worship of Odin and Thor. Anytime you see them are using like Greek mythology, Norse mythology, women's mythology, and then in Los Angeles in the hood, okay, yeah, whatever, man. So that has nothing to do. They just swagger jack everything. Oh, their ancient worship of Odin and Thor. If you watch, do you know who Thor is? According to our people, well, of course, Thor was the whole Norse thing. Is our culture. They just switch everything and they make it look like us. Thor is literally what you're calling Ogu or Ogun, the god of thunder. Okay? Okay, Odin is the father, what they're calling Zeus and all that. They switch all those. You remember, those people don't have no story. They just steal everything, slap their faces upon it, and then talking about how great they are. Okay? Oh, they met those people. They believe in the worship of Odin and Thor. All right, then. There was a gentleness in his face and a kindly expression in the keenly alert gray eyes of this man who had lived more than 80 years and 10. How much is 80 years and 10? All right. And withal a sense of loneliness that appealed to my sympathy, slightly stooped and with his hands clasped behind him, he was walking like, his hand behind him. 50 years old. Is that what that is? Okay, well, yeah. So this guy know that he knew this dude 40 years ago, 50, 45 years ago. 90 or 50? You could have easily said that guy was 50 years old or 90 years old. They remove it. Or 80 years. They tried to make this thing was written in Bible time. It's just in Bible time they saying 80 years and stuff. But back then they just say, hey, you 50, you 40, 20, 20, 40. Right. I believe it was 90. One score is 20. Then if it's four score is 80. 10, it was 90 years old. All right, then, good. 9 years old. Slightly stooped and with his hand clasped behind him, he walked back and forth with slow and measured threads. That day, when we first met, I can hardly say what particular motive impelled me to pause and walk and engage him in conversation. He seems pleased when I complimented him on the attractiveness of his of his bungalow and on the well-timed vine. So this dude was working in LA, okay, that's what you do now, just like any white man walking around in LA. Just, they just go around walking in LA, they don't care. I was working, and then you see this old man slightly stooped. He's walking slowly with a nice pace with both of his hands, clasped behind his back, and he's walking back and forth in front of his house. So he saw this fellow, this 90-year-old fellow, and he looked at his apartment. Is that what that is? A bungalow? A bungalow is like an apartment, a 2-story apartment. Am I saying it right? Is that what the bungalow is? A low house with a board front porch, having either no upper, okay, but it's not a 2-story, no upper floor or upper room, set in a roof, typically with a dormer window. Just a decent house, okay? You know what? Like a poor house, a little like decent, not too shabby, poor house in the hood. But the house was beautiful. The house was attractive. So now you got this dude walking in the hood. Out of all the dirty houses, broken down houses, you see this beautiful one. A nice, well kept house, a small home, single level with basement. I love bungalows. Just a small home, okay? Now in LA, a small, decent home, an old man walking around. So he was passing, he stopped. And then he said, "That's a nice, it's a nice crib you got there, old timer." And the old man walk up to him, and then they start a conversation. Okay, they start talking. That's how he said he met Olaf Jensen. And he had like a vines, flowers and everything like that. A well-tended vines and flowers clustering in profusion over the window's roof and wide pizza. Right? Piazza? The hell is a piazza? Piazza? Okay, well, anyway. Reading a book, hungry, talking about piazza. It sounds like pizza. Oh, whatever. I soon discovered that my new acquaintance was no ordinary person, but one profound and learned to a remarkable degree, a man who in the latter years of his own long life had dug deeply into books and become strong in the power of meditative silence. I encouraged him to talk and soon gathered that he had read only 6 or 7 years in Southern live. What the hell is this? Is reside? Okay, well, anyway. So when he met this quote unquote this old fellow, he quickly realized this guy is not in an ordinary person. Okay, that's what happened when those people stumble upon our people. They think we're all 2/3. They think we are all bad, cursing, drug using sons of. That's what they thought. And the moment they adjust us, we adjust them back. You're like, I'm not dealing with the typical one here. And then he realized this dude is well read. He realized this old man is well read, and he was shocked. Guess what? Most old white men back then was well read. Most old black men back then wasn't, because they were just get out of slavery. That was in 1800 or 1900. I believe it was in 1800. They don't really give the time. They give you They give you a story based on what they're telling you. That was in the 1800. And then he like, yo, okay, this is not a typical. I was going to question this today, man. I free Negro, like you have this nice place in the hood. The way the guy talked, and he's like, he's not like them. This is probably one of the rare one of the child of the light. No hish. I encouraged him, okay, to talk, and soon gathered that he had resided only 6 or 7 years in Southern California, but it has passed the dozen years prior in one of the Middle Eastern states. All right, so now all of a sudden he realized this dude was living in California for 6 or 7 states, but he was living like dozens of years in the Middle East. Back then they didn't have that term Middle East, but whatever, man. It's here. You got a guy in the 1800s writing about the Middle East, but whatever though. Before that, he had been a fisherman. I haven't heard from this dude for like years. Why is it texting me now? But anyway, I encourage him out with that. Southern California, Middle Aliens. Okay. Before he had been a fisherman off the coast of Norway and the region of the Lofoten Islands, from whence he had made trips still farther north to Spitsbergen and even to France Joseph land. When I started to take my leave, he seems reluctant to have me go and asked me to come again. Although at the time I thought nothing of it, I remember now that he made a peculiar remark as I extended my hand and leave, thinking, "You will come again?" he asked. "Yes, you will come again someday. I am sure you will. And I shall show you my library and tell you many things of which you have never dreamed. Things so wonderful that it may be for you, you will not believe me." So this dude, he was about to leave, once he made the acquaintance and stuff. And then the old man didn't really want him to leave, but the old man said, "You're gonna come back. I'll see you again. I'm pretty sure you'll come back. You know what? When you come back, I'll show you my library of knowledge. You're gonna read some hish that I have in there, and you go, you never heard this. You will not even believe me, but you will come back. Of course, somebody like that, you will come back. Okay, you're like, man, that need, especially a guy like me. That guy got some stuff in there that I can read that will blow my mind. Okay, usually people tempt me with food, but okay, I love reading. But I will be back though. Right after I get off work, I'll come here. All right. I laughingly assured him that I would not only come again, but I will be ready to believe whatever he might choose to tell me of his travels and adventures. Okay, it is always good when you are a young man. When I was a little kid, I always liked to hang out, and which is was kind of like against the rule. When back then, the way that I was raised, unless the old folks want you to be there, you will be there. The moment a group of kids sitting somewhere, an adult came in here, all children have to stand up, and then until this adult do whatever he or she's doing, and then that adult leave, all the children sit down and we play again. We were not allowed to play in the middle, in the midst of adults. For instance, if there is a group of men talking and drinking, the moment there is a old timer passing by, everybody, you remove your hat, you salute it, you pay your respect, and then this person gone, and then you start it. When there's a group of grown-ups talking, children, you don't stay there unless if they are with kids, and then unless they tell you kids to be at ease, and then you be at ease. Okay, but it is always good. I always love when they are speaking, I eavesdrop and listen to their conversation, which is always like either encoded, they don't speak straight. It's their conversation is always metaphorically. It's always metaphor and similes. And as a kid, I'm getting so confused. I'm like, what? That's why I talk like this. I always use metaphor and simile because that's what my people use. Metaphor. You would never understand unless if they want you to know. But this art is lost, and people just speak clearly now, and it's just lost. So that's why this dude, he when you met a person that is more advanced in age and wiser than you really want to know everything that they know because you're fascinated about it. That was back then. Right now, I know better than you. I got iPod. What else did I have here? I have iPhone. I have everything. I know everything. Okay. I read that 66 book, 80 book. I watch a tons of YouTube video, damn it, and I know everything. I don't need to know anything. So when you met the people that are older than you, they are a hell. They have so many. The reason why this that's Olaf Jensen was working, he was waiting on someone to pass in on the knowledge. Okay, it's really extremely difficult when you are in certain age and then you're waiting for that young person or that thing. You always see books, for instance, the book of the Black Pullet. Okay, you got this old man lived centuries, possibly thousands of years. He was waiting, and he gives the knowledge to this young captain. Okay, it is always a old person passing on the torch. Back when I was when I was a little boy, so to speak, my people taught me you can never disrespect the old school or don't break down what the old people has built. Always get in the shoulders of the old so you can see further and higher. If you destroy what they built or you reject what they built, not only you're gonna go ahead and build one yourself, you not only one first, you can't build it because there's too much distraction. It will take you too much time, you will waste your time. Always build on top what your ancestors built so you can go further, longer, better, live a hell of a lot more longer. We don't do this because we are taught to not follow the way of our ancestors because they were so evil. We were taught not to do the things that they did because the foundation. Of course, all right. You see what Gentiles does when Gentile. I'll get back to the story, Bridge. I'm just making a point. It is always good for if you live with your parents, they go older, you go old, and then they die, they leave you the house. But they always taught our people the moment this child hit 18, get the hell out of my house. Go get your own. Now you got our 18-year-old men and women, and for instance, the mindset of being 18, that means you're an adult, that's a dangerous mindset. And our people, we become so interested in other people's lives. We out there saying, oh, you are not legal, you're not this, you're not that. And then the moment they reach the legal age, and then we just push them out there. Go get your own, go get this. White folks don't do this. 83 don't do that. They let their children stay in the house until they are capable to buy their own house. Sometimes they let them still stay in their own house. When they buy their other house, they rent it and buy other property, rent it, buy and rent it. And then they get out of the house. And then when they die, they kept this house. They keep renting, buying, renting, buying. But they taught us if we got like any children that have the age to work, get out, go get work and stuff. And that way, a lot of us, we become broken. Our childhood when we are 18, 19, instead of us study, gain knowledge, we work and then we give up on life because that's all it is. Some of us, that's all we've been doing ever since we're 17. Back then it was even earlier. Back then they didn't have ages restriction. You 13 or 12-year-old girl, you start working, especially if you're black. Everybody in the house is working. That's how they implemented it in our people. Okay, that's what they do to our people, and then they destroy our people. All right. Thank you, beloved Ma, for the super chart. Thanks for all you do. Usually working when you go live. Most time I have to catch the replay. It's good to be here, brothers. It's good to be here. It's catching the replay, watching the live. You get the message. All praises. Okay. All right. So okay. Back then it was pretty much. Our people, we indeed did value tradition, even though the tradition that we have were completely Christianized, but it was a form of it was when the all black Christians, they didn't play that, man. They were very strict. They're very all black Christians. They were very strict. You know, the scumbag stuff that you're seeing here, the so-called black Christian, Southern Black Baptist church, they would have taken your head off back then. But a lot of people sell out. A lot of them sell out. They are preaching against these things. And then our young kids, till now, young people that are around my house, you know, they're 15, 20s, they don't want to hang around me because I'm not cool. Cool, drink, smoking, and get physically, fleshly involved with them. That's cool. You know, let's blow up a drink. That's cool. And back then it wasn't. That's when I was growing up. It is you seeking the person that is older than you, that have more things that they can teach you. And you got to be very mature. They don't deal with immature people. That's why this dude been living in this place. He has to wait until a mature person show up. That's why the masters, they don't deal with everybody. You would have seen them all over YouTube they don't do that. They only deal with people that they can deal with. If you're one of those persons, all praises. Okay, so let us keep on moving. All right. In the days that follow, I became well acquainted with Olaf Jensen, and little by little, he told me his story. So marvelous that his very daring challenges reason and belief. The old Norseman always expressed himself with so much earnestness. Earnestness. You might want to, boy, what they call this again? Define this for the people. With so much earnestness or earnestness. All right, I would have put gallant, but anyway, and sincerity that I become enthralled by his strange narration. Then came the messenger's call that night, and within the hour, I was at Olaf Jensen bungalow. He was very impatient at the long wait, although after being summoned, I had come immediately to his bedside. I must hasten, he exclaimed, while he held my hand in greeting. I have much to tell you that you know not. I have much to tell you that you know not, and I will trust no one but you. I fully realize he went on hurriedly, that I shall not survive the night. So now when the messenger come to this fellow house, which he haven't tell us his name, so he gave him the letter, he read it. Oh, Olaf Jensen is about to die, he want to see me. So they get into their horses and they went over there to California, in Southern California, Los Angeles, to the neighborhood that this dude was reading. And then when he got there, and then the dude just came out of and grabbed his hand and said, "Quickly come! I have so much to tell you. There are so many issues I got to tell you, and I don't trust any other person. I trust you. I got to tell you those things. Come." Okay, and then he said, "If I don't tell him, there's no tomorrow. If I don't telling you to, I'm not going to survive the night. I'm going to die in the night." Okay, all right. So, he took the guy, and then he said he wants to survive the night. They go inside, and they're gonna start stalking. The time has come to drain my fathers in the great sleep. I adjust the pillows to make him more comfortable, and I assured him I was glad to be able to serve him in any way possible, for I was beginning to realize the seriousness of his condition. So this dude say he's going to go to see Abraham. Okay, he about to go, and then he lying down there. The guy make his pillow for him, and then he lie there on his back, and the guy sit on the bed. He's waiting for him to tell him what he wanted to tell him. The lateness of the hour, the stillness of the surrounding, the uncanny feeling of being alone and the dying man, together with his weird story, all combine to make my heart beat fast and loud with a feeling of awe, which I have no name. Now, again, when you're watching the grammatically imposed words, I'm going to start using big words here too. You see the word weird. In the 1800, early 1700, people never used this word, just like the Willie Lynch letter. When you're reading the Willie Lynch letter, it sounds like a commercial. So that thing was written in 1970s. That's what Dr. Claude, doing his research, like they wrote this thing in the 70s. Weird, like back then, they would have said peculiar story. They would have said something like so, but they put weird. Weird is just it's just a recent word, which shows you they mess with this thing. But anyway, weird story all combines to make my heart beat fast and loud with a feeling for which I have no name. All right. Indeed, there were many times that night by the old Norseman couch, and there have been many times since, when a sensation rather than a conviction took possession of my very soul, and I seems not only to believe in, but actually see the strange lands, the strange people, and the strange world of which he told, and to hear the mighty orchestral chorus of 1,000 lusty voices. So what happened here? When this guy sitting on the in front of the bed, the old man lying there telling the story, and he said something overcome him. Something overcome him. It was so strong that he could literally see the land, hear the choir. He could feel everything. He could see it. That is because it how do you call this again? There is the closest thing we can come up with this. He showed it to him in a TV and stuff like that, but that's not what that is. It literally, quote unquote, it's some kind of time displacement, but a memory displacement, not time. A memory time displacement. He literally take his memory and then he beam it into the guy's head. He replaces his soul with the guys. The guys see everything. That's what he says here. All right. He read it. He heard the sound of the reavers. Is that what that is? Yes. For over 2 hours, he seemed endowed with almost superhuman strength, talking rapidly and to all appearances rationally. So the old man was talking so fast, and everything that he was saying makes sense. You got a dying dude on his deathbed. He has something come upon him, and he started talking very fast, and everything that he said was rationally makes sense. He wasn't bumbling, oh yeah, the third eyes and all that, the river, the giant people, and a hell of a lot of short people over there, but they are not midget. He talked fast, he talked vivid, he was very strong. Everything makes sense. For over 2 hours and rapidly, and to all appearance rationally. Finally, he gave into my hands certain data, drawings, and crude maps. Okay, and again, you see the word data or data. Data is a technological word. You didn't have that word in the 1800s. Data. He gave me some data. You mess with this. He gave you a specific object. You said, oh, data. But it wasn't data. The hell, that thing was in the 1800. Who had a computer and give you some data? No. No, he gave me a specific object. Data is mostly a modern word. Thank you for perverting that for us. But anyway. And then he gave him a maps, a crude maps, okay? These, he said, in conclusion, I leave in your hands. If I can have your promise to give them to the world, I shall die happy, because I desire that people may know the truth, for then all mystery concerning the frozen Northland will be explained. So this guy, he about to die, and he put something in his right hand, which some data, okay, some information, and a map. He said a crude drawing map. You got a dude that live in the midst of highly super advanced technology people. He come back with a very crude map that drawing something else. Somehow he didn't learn the technology over there. He didn't give you some high tech. He gives you a very crude map and something that you call a data. But anyway, so he said, if you can give this to the world and let them know the northern land, the most northern land, have fish in there and good stuff in there, I will die happy. Okay? And he said, okay, well, no problem. There is no chance of your suffering the fate I suffer. They will not put you in irons nor confine you in a madhouse because you are not telling your own story, but mine. And I thanks to the gods. Odin and Thor will be in my grave, and so beyond the reach of disbelievers who will persecute. Now, anytime they are telling a story that is fantastical, spectacular, to believe, they will always associate this person with mental illness. They will always give it a pass. That guy had a coke pass. He used to be a used crackhead. He used to be he had some mental issue he was dealing with, and then this literally disproved everything, and this took credit away from you. And people are like, well, how could we believe this guy? He was an ex-addict. He was imprisoned in an asylum for this. Probably he made this up. That's what they do. Without a thought of the far-reaching results, the promise and trial of foreseeing the many sleepless nights which the obligation has since brought me, I gave my hand and with the pledge to disgrace faithfully his dying wish. Now, this is very important. When a person is dying, and our people taught us, not every people that are dying, you're supposed to be at the bedside, especially if you knew this person was a horrible person. You don't sit next to the bed and let them hold your hand and tell you to take, because you take it off. When somebody said, I'm about to die, what I'm about to tell you, swear that you will keep it secret or you will give it to somebody. You got to be very careful with that. You might take like, oh, well, yeah, whatever. And when that person tell you this thing, and then you go against his wish, This is deadly. No, you don't do that. This is very deadly because there are witnesses in the room with you. You don't see them, and you take a vow, you take an oath. This person, will you swear? That is why when Abraham was going to die, he called Eliezer, his servant. It was Eliezer was a son to him. He made Eliezer swear by putting his hand in Eliezer's thighs. Back then, that's how you used to take. That's like the highest oath. You put your hand in the man's thighs, and then he claps his thighs, and then you said, "Do you swear to go get my son a wife that is from our people? And if you're not gonna get, don't come back here with another woman. You have to get him a wife that is in our tribe and our people." And Eliezer said, "I swear." Then Eliezer, quote unquote, a Gentiles, went to his knee. He called up the Lord Almighty. He said, "Oh God, your very son Abraham sent me to go get a wife for his son. I don't know what I'm doing, but I urge you, you mighty one, to choose one for me. When I get there, show it to me." And the Most High heard him, and then the Most High sent the angel with him, and then they get um Isaac, the wife that he needed. Rebecca, is that what I forgot the whole name, but that just to show you when you take an oath, okay? When you take an oath, whether for old man, a young person, when you promise a child something, when this child say this, or somebody come up and you say, "Big Levi, I want to tell you something. It cannot go to the nation. I'm confining a secret in you. I want to say something to you. Will you keep it promised for me?" "Yes, I will." And then you get into an argument online with this person, and you literally say, "So, I know the reason because you act like that. That's why this thing happened in your marriage. That's why this thing happened." And then you quickly say this thing to hurt this person. Big mistake. Big mistake. Word is born. That's why. Big mistake. "I gave my hand and we did pledge to discharge faithfully his dying wish. As the sun rose over the peaks of the San Jacinto, far to the eastward of the spirit of Olaf Jensen, the navigator, the explorer, and worshipper of Odin and Thor, the man whose experiences and travels as related are without a parallel in all the world's history, passed away, and I was left alone with the dead. And now, after having paid the last sad rites to the strange men from the Lofoten Islands and the still farther northwind, ho! The courageous explorer of frozen regions, who his declining years after he had passed the fourscore mark, had sought an asylum of restful peace in sun-favored California, I will undertake to make public his story. Now, this guy, he said he sit there with Olaf Jensen, old 95 years old, and then he tell him all the story, and then he promised him to swear to tell the world about it. So you have to let the entire world know that the land northwards, okay, that's where he went, because they got land northward and land southward, eastward, and all that. The land exists. There are people over there, things over there. It's a land of living, long life, living forever and stuff. He said he will swear the guy died. Okay. He said this is his wish now. I'm going to tell you the wish of this old man. But first of all, let me indulge one or two reflection. Now, before this guy tell us the story, he is going to tell us a little something. Generations follows generation, and the traditions from the misty past are handed down from sire to son. But for some strange reason, interest in the ice locked unknown does not abate with the receding years, either in the midst of the ignorant or the tutored. With each new generation, a restless impulse stirs the heart of men to capture the veiled citadel of the Arctic, the circle of silence, the land of glaciers, a cold waste of waters and wind that are strangely warm. Increasing interest in manifest in the mountainous icebergs and marvelous speculation and indulge in concerning the Earth's center of gravity. The cradle of the tide. Those are word salad, a bunch of nonsense. Okay, you just talk about the Northland, but anyway, I'm gonna describe it, to you to impress your ass. That's what that is right there. And concerning the Earth's center of gravity, the irregular of the tides, where the wells have the nurseries, where the magnetic needles go mad, where the aurora borealis illuminates the night. Now, when they talk about the aurora borealis, now you know the reflection of the sun below, or that giant crystal that is below reflected from up, and then it make the aurora borealis, and we know what that is now. We're getting somewhere, okay? And courageous spirits in every generation dare to venture and explore, defying the dangers of the farthest north. One of the ablest works of recent years is Paradise Found, or The Cradle of the Human Race at the North Pole by William F. Farron. If you can get this book, get it, okay? Farthest North. One of the ablest works of recent years is Paradise Found. That's the name of the book. Paradise Found, or The Cradle of the Human Race at the North Pole by William F. Warren. Okay, William F. Warren, Paradise Found, or The Cradle of the Human Race, if you wish to get this book. In his carefully prepared volume, Mr. Warren almost stubbed his toe against the real truth, but missed it seemingly by only a hair breadth, and the old Norseman revelation to be true. Dr. Orville Livingston Leach, scientist, and a recent. This is what I despise. Now they're gonna bring some expert. They're going to bring some doctor scientist in this, because he's the only guy that can tell you it's BS. It's true. It's not real. It is real. Those are the people that are. You should listen. This guy is a doctor, Big Levi. You're not a doctor. You did not went to Harvard, right? No, man. Then shut the hell up. Listen to this guy. He's a doctor. He's a scientist. He wrote his for article in the newspaper. Let's listen to him. Dr. Orville Livingston Leach. Wow, last name Leach. Okay. Scientist in a recent article says the possibilities of land inside of the earth were first brought to my attention when I picked up a geode on the shores of the Great Lakes. The geode is a spherical and apparently solid stone, but when broken, it's found to be hollow and coated with crystals. All right, now I'm just telling you what this guy is saying. Then again, full disclosure, full disclaimer. I'm not interested in you finding some Gentiles telling you otherwise, or you trying to prove something to me with 1-2 scriptures and then we're scripture in battle. I'm throwing sword after you, you're throwing sword. I'm not interested in debating shape of the earth. Frankly, please, I don't need your, don't waste my time, and I will not waste your time. This is what this guy said. He found, okay, on the shore of the Great Lakes, the geode. Is that what that is? The geode is a spherical and apparently solid stone, but when broken, is found to be hollow and coated with crystals. So he find this rock, this round rock. Okay, it's a stone, but when he caught it, the inside is hollow, but it's coated with crystals. Like, what is this? The earth is only a larger form of a geode. And the law that created the geode is hollow from undoubtedly fashioning the earth in the same way. You go argue with this guy. That's what he said. I just read it to you. That's all. He said, when he called it up, of course, brothers, they have all the information that we left and stuff like that, you know. You're like, oh man, this thing is just like the earth. It's hollow and it's coated with crystals. and presenting the theme of this almost incredible story as told by Olaf Jensen and supplemented by manuscript maps and crude drawings and entrusted to me. A fitting introduction is found in the following quotation. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, empty, void. Okay, and also God created man in his own image. Therefore, even in things, materials can be made be godlike because he is created in the likeness of the Father. A man builds a house for himself and family. The porch or veranda, so all without and secondary. The building is really constructed for the conveniences within. Excuse me. Okay, so what they are saying here, what this guy trying to emulate, what this guy trying to telling you, like most things that you see beautiful, the outside really don't mean anything. Is when you get inside. You might see a mansion, a beautiful mansion. Is when you go inside. Is it livable? The wealth is not stored outside of the mansion. You pass, you see the bank, but what is inside this bank? And you can get inside of the bank, but there's a bigger door, a heavier door, a metallic door inside of this bank you will find. Everything is inside. That's why the mighty one say, I am inside of you. If he's inside of us and we're from the earth, therefore there's something inside of the earth. The power is within you. It is in you. The force is what surrounded us, penetrated us. It is within us, inside of us. Penetrate. To penetrate something, there must be a hole there. There must be some kind of orifice. Oh boy. To go in there and penetrate. Inside. Olaf Jensen makes the startling announcement through me, a humble instrument that is like manner. God created the earth for the within. That is to say, for its lands and sea, rivers, mountains, forests, and valleys, and for its other internal conveniences, while the outside surface of the earth is merely the veranda, the porch, where things go by comparison, but sparsely, like the lichen and the mountainside clinging, determined by experience. That's exactly what you just said. The mighty one created the earth like a house. The outside look beautiful, but most of the important things are not outside. And when you go inside of this home, you might see a car, let's say a Maybach. I'm trying to use some rapper term here. A Rolls Royce. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful car. It's when you get inside of it. You sit inside the leather. Like, there. Damn, that look beautiful, man. You might see an RV. And when you go inside of it, wow, there's even more things. There's a bathroom inside of this thing. There's bed in there. There's a kitchen in there. What the hell? You can literally live in this thing. For some of you, you may be familiar. There are a group of people, they call them digital nomad. So they live on the road, they live digitally, they live the minimalist life, they live in a van. They got those Amazon van, and it's amazing. You see this Amazon van pass, but they are not Amazon van, look like Amazon van, or one of those regular vans, excuse me. You're like, man, that's a nice van. But when you go inside it, there's bed, there's a shower, there's what they call this thing again. There's a kitchen. It's all cropped up though. Remember that girl, Gabby, and his boyfriend and her boyfriend? We living the van life. We're so happy and stuff, but they weren't. They weren't. And guess what? this girl did not like live in the van because life was too. The Most High did not create it. Unless if you have the opportunity to live in a freaking mansion, and somebody forced you to live in a van, cramped up van, you have to, yeah, Gabby Petito, and then you barely can use the bathroom and stuff, and then you're like, yo, I got a freaking mansion. Why would I? If you don't have anywhere, you're homeless, you got a van. Oh man, that's like, yo, that's my house. I love this thing. But those Gentiles are showing you like they can leave, just like they're leaving the city, the beautiful mansion, and they go live in the and off grid in the woods. No, they don't. They go to the woods for the weekend, shoot a couple video, upload it, and go right back to the city. It's all lies. Olaf Jensen make the startling announcement through me, a humble instrument, that in like manner God created the earth for the within. God created the earth for the within. That it is to say, for its lands, seas, rivers, mountains, forests, and valley, for its other internal conveniences, while the outside surface of the earth is merely the veranda. Somebody define that word, veranda, veranda. Veranda, veranda. The porch. We just live on the porch, brother. We haven't get inside of the house. We live on the porch. We live in the backyard of the earth. We're on the porch. The Gentiles, they live on the porch. They claiming that they own the whole house. You got this homeless dude watching you when you go to work and then sleep in front of your house, taking selfie. He owns the whole house. And he's going to destroy it too. They say all those things that you see is merely the veranda. Veranda, a roof platform along the outside of a house level with the ground floor. Outer courtyard. That's all that is. You haven't get inside of this house yet, sir. You haven't enjoyed taking a shower inside. You've been taking shower by the rainwater. You haven't eat a meal that is cooked inside and lie down upon that soft, smooth silk bed and turn on the TV, good sir. You haven't done that. You're still outside on the porch acting out. You know everything. Okay. Why would the Most High would let you inside, man? Who the hell are you? You ask for a little place to live. You swag at Jack the porch. Okay, whatever. The veranda, the porch, where things grows by comparison, but sparsely like the lichen and the mountainside, clinging dirt determinedly for bare existence. Take an eggshell and from each and break out a piece as large as the end of this pencil. Extract it contents, and then you will have a perfect representation of Olaf Jensen Earth. Okay, so what he said here, if you take an egg, okay, you take an egg, you take a pencil, you poke a little hole in it. You don't eat the shell of the egg. Well, at least if you're a pig or a lizard or whatever, or one of those snakes that actually do this. But the content of the egg, the best part of the egg is inside of the egg. The life is contained inside of the egg. That is why before you were born, when you were in the spiritual realm, you were inside of the womb, inside of your mother's belly, which is the earth. She did not carry you outside of her belly. That's why your heart is not on your skin. Your most important organs are not on your skin. They are inside your body. Oops, excuse me. The distance from the inside surface to the outside surface, according to him, is about 300 miles. Okay? It's bigger than that. Okay? The center of gravity is not and well, he said the distance from the to dig, the distance would be 300 miles. That means you're gonna have to, if you try to drive down there, it would take you to drive here to Georgia if you have to dig to reach down there. That's what he said, 300 miles. The center of gravity is not in the center of the earth, but it is in the center of the shell or crust. Therefore, if the thickness of the earth crust or shell is 300 miles, the center of gravity is 150 miles below the surface. So the thickness of the egg shell is 300-mile thick. That's what he's describing. I'm not making this up. I'm just reading this. I don't know. You want to? That's what it's. The thickness of the eggshell is 300 miles thick. That means like you would have drive from Miami to Atlanta, or to Miami to like Tallahassee. Florida is somewhere around. It's the size of the thickness. Okay, for instance, this is the thickness of the sheet. This is probably less than a centimeter. Now, this is the thickness of this sponge. They are not the same thickness. You could easily poke a hole in this because the thickness is not that much. But this, you cannot poke a hole in there. Can you imagine a thickness of this go all the way to Georgia? Can you imagine penetrating this? That thing is thick, heavy. And their log books, Arctic explorers tell us how of the deeping of the needle of the vast cells of the region in the region of the farthest north known. In reality, they are at the curve of the edges of the shell, where gravity and geometrically increase, and while the electric current seemingly dashes off into the space towards the phantom idea of the North Pole. Yet the same electric currents drop again and continue its course southward along the inside surface of the Earth course. And that means like whatever current that it is, the current is intelligent. That means it's alive, it's controlled. So when the water, the way that I explain it is like an egg, okay? There's a hole on top of the egg and there's a hole in the bottom of the egg, all right? The water is in the surface of the egg. The water is going up in the head of the egg and then enter inside of the egg and appear on the bottom of the egg and go back again and do forth, back and forth. It's like an egg. Waters are coming both sides, inside of the egg, go inside at the bottom, and then gravity pull the water up, go on the side of the earth, the egg, and then get inside. It's a cycle. However, if you take a boat and then you are following the current of the water, you're about to get inside of the earth, the current literally will be activated and then will switch you and then will put you on the side, on the side of the egg. You cannot get inside unless no unauthorized entry. That means the ley line, whatever technology they have there, it's quite alive. It's quite alive. And the appendix to this work, to his work, Captain Sabine gives an account of experiment to determine the acceleration of the pendulum in different latitudes. This appears to have resulted from the joint labor of Perry and Sabine. He says, the accidental discovery always, some Gentiles always accidentally discovering it. The accidental discovery that the pendulum and being removed from Paris to neighborhood of the equator increased its time of vibration, give the first step to our present knowledge that the polar axis of the globe is less than equatorial, that the force of gravity or the surface of the earth increasing progressively from the equator towards the pole. According to Olaf Jensen, and the beginning of his old world of ours was created solely from the within world, from the world inside. Okay, where are located the four great rivers, the Euphrates, the Pison, the Gihon, and the Hiddekel. These same names of river, when applied to the streams of the outside surface of the earth, are purely traditional and from an antiquity beyond the memory of men. Now, he says here, okay, that the four main river, the Euphrates and all that, the true location is in the entrails of the earth. Okay, the ancient, this back then was a common knowledge. Was a common knowledge. Okay, on the top of a high mountain near the fountain head of these four rivers, Olaf Jensen, the Norseman, claimed to have discovered the long lost Garden of Eden, the veritable navel of the earth. Okay, he said he saw the Garden of Eden. Okay, the veritable navel of the earth, and to have spent over 2 years studying and reconnoitering in this marvelous within land inside, exorbitant with stupendous plant life and abounding in giant animals of land where the people live to be centuries old after the order of Methuselah and other biblical characters. A region where 1/4 of the inner surface is water and 3/4 land. Okay, there are much more land under than above. It says inside, that's what I'm reading here. Insides, okay, in the inner surface, okay, 1/4 of the inner surface, 1/4, okay, is water, all right, and 3/4 is land, which is there's more land. So now let me explain for you. Do I have quarters here? If you have 4/4, you have $1. Or if you have 4/4, you have one. If you have 4/4, you have a whole. Okay? Now, if you have 4/4, okay, 1/4 is water. You got 75 cents left. 3/4. This 3/4 is land. That 1/4 is just pure water. And the rest, 75% of inside is earth. The 25% is water. It's the reverse for us. 75% is water for us, water that can kill you if you drink it, and 25% earth. It's a reverse world. And this world is all polluted stuff and war and everything. But in the other world, it's beautiful. Reverse. The inner surface is water and 3/4 land, where there are large ocean and many rivers and lakes, where the cities are superlatively in construction and magnificent, where modes of transportation are far in advance of ours, as with our boasted achievement are in advance in the inhabitant of the darkest Africa. This is what this guy said here. He said there are ocean, rivers, lakes. They have cities that so pure, super advanced cities that you can even get in. And we sit over there proudly comparing ourselves and say, we are the most advanced. I mean, comparing to darkest continent. Don't get comparing to those darkies over there, we're advanced. The inhabitants of Africa, well, you know, they're not, we better than them. That's like me going and compare myself. I'm much a better man, a sexier man than a sumo wrestler. And then a professional bodybuilder look at me and laugh. And then when they're comparing me to a professional bodybuilder, it's a yes, sweetie. What is it? Paper? Here you go, sweetie.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too. All right, sweetie. There we go. The distance directly across the space from inner surface to inner surface is about 600 miles less than the recognition diameter of the Earth. And the identical center of this vast vacuum is the seat of electricity, a mammoth ball of dull red fire. The giant heart that is inside of the earth. The sun that is inside of the earth. Let me say it again. And the identical center of this vast vacuum and the seat of electricity, a mammoth ball of dull red fire, not startling brilliant, but surrounded by a white, mild, luminous cloud, giving out uniform warmth and held in the place in the center of this internal space by the immutable law of gravitation. Now, let me put this into picture. If you're familiar with Kryptonian, the so-called Kryptonian live under a red sun. The planet Krypton, marvelous, beautiful planet, they live under a red sun originally, all right? Now, if you take any Kryptonian, for those of you who know what a Kryptonian is, and you put that, any of them, a baby Kryptonian, any Kryptonian, you take this Kryptonian, you put it under a yellow sun, it literally become a god. Now you got here above us is the yellow sun. Under us is the red sun. What would happen to us if we, so-called children with melanin, black people, so to speak, the mighty one, go down there and exposed to this radiation of this red sun? What could possibly happen? See, the Most I did not, you see, when you look at the sun, when they say the sun is life, but when you truly look at it, the sun is death. The sun can kill you. If you stay too much in the sun, it will burn you. Well, that is if you have some certain attributes to your skin. You don't have the necessary things. You weren't born with a natural radiation suit. You were devoid of that. Yes, the sun gives life when you see it, beautiful. Wow. So, but long exposure to this sun can kill you. There are in certain human beings it causes cancer. The sun is the biggest radiation we have is the sun. And the sun is cooking a lot of things. But what would happen if we expose to this red, beautiful sun that is suspended? Is that what that is? Is that a real word? That is levitated by the power of electricity or whatever. It says there is a giant red sun, a red ball, a mammoth red ball that emitting white glow. You can look at it. It won't hurt your eyes. Not this sun, not our sun. You stare at that mother that said it cut your eyes out. But this sun, you can look, you can see the splendor. It's suspended. Let me say it with you. And the identical center of this vast vacuum is the seat of electricity, a mammoth ball of dull red fire, not startlingly brilliant, but surrounded by white, mild, luminous cloud, giving out uniform warmth. It's not fiery red, it's just a mild red pulsing. And you can see the white light emitting from it peacefully. Giving out uniform warmth and held in a place in the center of this internal space by the immutable law of gravitation. This electrical cloud is known to the people within as the abode of the Smoky God. When they met this guy, say, you see this thing? That's where the Smoky God live. Of course, brothers, the term Smoky God, it's esoteric. It could be, that doesn't come on. The Most High don't lean on this thing. It's just a creature, technology, or an angel that is watching over the people out there. That's of course, I hear people say, hey, the Most High live inside of the sun. Yeah, it's a Shemeshite stuff. No, it's esoteric. I will know what that is, but because of certain people, we don't want to speak clearly. This electrical cloud is known to the people within as the abode of the Smoky God. They believe it to be the throne of the Most High. I'm not making this up. They believe it is the throne of the Most High. That's what it says here, literally. Olaf Jensen remind me of how in the old college days we were all familiar with the laboratory demonstration of centrifugal motion, which clearly proved that if the earth were a solid, the rapidity of its revolution upon its axis would tear it into 1,000 fragments. That's Gentiles, technology, science, right? The old Norsemen also maintained that from the farthest point of the land or on the island of Spitsbergen and Prince Joseph Land's flax, a geese may be seen annually flying still farther northward, just as the sailor and explorer recorded in the log books. What they say here, he said, when he used to stay in the island of Spitsbergen and Prince Joseph, they used to see a flock of geese flying north, and they never stop. And when they get there, when the sailors watching, they say there's no more land up north, but those birds keep going. Some of those birds, they say, oh, they migrated to Mexico, they migrated to this. No, they went inside of the earth, man. They have the authorization, they can go there. But there's no more dinosaur. A giant asteroid killed all of them. They were all stupid. They've been living on this, I don't know, millions of years. They didn't know as animal. They didn't feel through the ley line, this thing coming, and all of them or most of them go hide. All right, man. I don't know. Again, brethren, we're just studying. That's all. No scientist has yet been audacious enough to attempt to explain even its own satisfaction towards what lanes these winged fowls are guided by their subtle instinct. Till now, no scientist will dare tell you, oh, those birds, they go to this land. They just, they migrated south. They migrated north. They migrated east. They migrated west. Where exactly is migrated south? Well, Mexico. And then you call the so-called Mexican out there, say, hey, do you guys see those birds over there, those geese? Geese? No. If we did saw them, we would have eaten them. They're not here. They migrated. But where did they go? Oh, this animal went extinct and stuff because we don't see them anymore. That means they all died. Get out of here. You could never, ever wipe out any of the Most High God creation. Okay? The moment the animals felt like they are less and less in them, they realize there's a danger above, they will go under. They will go below. They will stay there until the danger is gone, and then they come back up. That's why you see a bunch of them are coming up. Most High did not create everything to be stupid. He created everything with an intelligence. Some of them are more intelligent than you. You probably like, oh well, I'm a Gentile, so I'm smarter than a bird. Yes. Yeah, you are super smart. That's why you're dropping atomic bomb everywhere. Okay. However, Olaf Jensen has given us the most reasonable explanation. The presence of the open sea in the Northland is also explained. Olaf Jensen claims that the northern aperture and take of whole to speak is about 1,400 miles across. You know what 1,400 miles is? A hole and aperture. When they say aperture, they're talking about the opening. You see, the eyes will, no, the eyes won't be good. If you're familiar with photography, some of you are photographers, when they're talking about aperture is the opening of a hole. Okay? The opening, aperture, a small opening is about 1,400 miles across. That's the aperture. You know what that means, brethren? If you stand on the edge of this thing, you could never see the other side. 1,400 miles, that's like driving from here to all the way up to California. I mean, no, to North Carolina or South Carolina. Yeah, hang on. Let me see. Let me see how far 1,400 miles is. What's the distance between Miami and Atlanta, Georgia?
The drive from Miami to Atlanta is 662.8 miles.
Okay, that's too small. What is the distance from Miami to Raleigh, North Carolina?
The drive from Miami to Raleigh is 799.5 miles.
That's still little. To Rhode Island, is that what that is? Coast to New York. Let's try New York. What is the distance between Miami and New York?
The drive from Miami to New York is 1,280.6 miles.
1,200 miles. Still too small. That's how wide this thing is. Still too small. Let's try Rhode Island. What is the distance between Miami and Rhode Island? Okay, no, I didn't say would given. Don't be showing me that. What's the distance between Miami and Providence, Rhode Island?
The drive from Miami to Providence is 1,458.7 miles.
That's close. That's 1,400 miles. That's like, it's 22 hours. Okay, the opening of this thing is like you and Miami, and then all the way up to Providence, Rhode Island. Can anybody in Providence, Rhode Island see me? Can even see Miami? Can anybody in Miami can even see Providence? That means you're standing on that's what it's an aperture. It's open up a little hole. You're standing on the edge of this thing, which is 1,400 miles long. That's how wide this hole is. Wait a minute, but if this hole, that's like the opening of the tip. You see what Olaf told you? You take an egg. That's how vast the earth is. You take an egg. You take a pencil. You push a little you push a little hole in it. The hole that you push in it, that's the entrance inside, which is 1,400 miles. Can you imagine the size? That's what, yes, but imagine the size of the cavity. Imagine the size of the cave. Imagine the size of the cities. You got the whole city that is the size of Alaska in there, man. You got the size of a city. You take Texas, California, Alaska, you put it together, it dwarfed it. That's the size of a city. Can you imagine how many people that live in there? Alaska is the biggest state. You got cities, not land, but you remember, 75% of this place is land. You got cities that dwarf Canada. If you got cities that is bigger than the whole entire state of Canada, man. Cities. You see how big this thing is? You see how vast this thing is? Can you imagine the Gentiles go down there in this land? I have, you know what? Nobody lives here. They would have show you they show you the trees, the animals and stuff, no cities. And then they would have sent their people, bomb the whole city, kill everyone, and then a few survivors. Oh, those are the primitive people that we find here. Let's give them a social security, give them a social security number, give them a job, and then put them in the ghetto, marginalize them. And everybody, all the 83s are, yeah, there ain't nobody there. Well, in fact, we civilize those people. Wait, what about those big-ass technology? How did they build those things? They did not. The ancient Greek, the reason we found this, the ancient Greek told us, they taught us how to get. That's what they would have done. And you will have people that look just like you and me will defend and say, yes, Big Levi, they did build this. Blah, 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 blah. They did build that. All right. Jensen claims that the northern aperture intake or hole, so to speak, is about 1,400 miles across. A hole that is 1,400 miles, man, from Miami to all the way to Providence, Rhode Island. You cannot stand in Miami and you look at Providence, the other land that is on the side of Providence. You can't. Neither the people that are in Providence can see this. That's how vast and huge this thing is. In connection with this, let us read what explorer Nansen writes on page 288 in his book, I Have Never Had Such a Splendid Sail. On the north, steadily north, with a good wind as fast as steam and sail can take us. An open sea, miles after mile, watching after watch through these unknown regions, always clearer and clearer of ice. One might almost say, how long will it last? The eye always turns to the northward as one paces to bridge. It is gazing into the future, but there is always the same dark sky ahead, which means an open sea. Again, the Northwood Review of England, it is issue of May 10th, 1884. You're talking about things that are in the 1800s. '84. We do not admit that there is an ice cup to the pole. Once inside the great ice barrier, a new world breaks upon the explorer. The climate is mild like that of England, and afterward, balmy as the Greek Isle. Yeah, whatever. Some of the rivers within Olaf Jensen claims are larger than our Mississippi and Amazon rivers combined in point of volume of water carried. Indeed, the greatness is occasioned by their width and depth rather than their length. And it is at the mouth of these mighty rivers as they flow northward and southward along the sea, the inside surface of the earth, that mammoth icebergs are found. Some of them 15 to 20 miles wide and from 40 to 100 miles length. Wow. It is not strange that there has been an iceberg encounter in the Arctic or Antarctic ocean that is not composed of fresh water. Modern scientists claim that freezing eliminates the salt, but Olaf Jensen claims differently. Ancient Hindu, Japanese, and Chinese writing, as well as the hieroglyphics of the extinct race of the North American continent, all speak of the custom of sun worshipping And it's possibly in the startling light of Olaf Jensen revelation that the people of the inner world lure away by a glimpse of the sun as it shone upon the inner surface of the earth, either from the northern of the southern opening, become dissatisfied. The smoky god, the great smoking, the great pillar of mother cloud of electricity and weary of this continuous mild and pleasant atmosphere, follow the brighter light and were finally led beyond the ice belt and scattered over the outer surface of the earth through Asia, Europe, North America, and later Africa, Australia, and South America. This is what this guy says. Oh well, based on what we've been guided on scientists and stuff like that, we find out like 1,000 years ago, and the people used to worship the sun because they were so stupid 1,000 years ago. The sun is their god. They worship the god. Now they find this sun, this red, mild sun that are calling them, and they're following that sun, and the sun followed them inside of the earth, and that's where they find it garbage. This is the Greek, like it's warm as the Greek. The moment you start hearing the Greek as Greek island and stuff, you're like, come on, man. There you go. There you go with your people, man. There you go with your people. Whatever. The following quotation is significant. It follows that men issuing from a mother region still undermined, but which a number of consideration indicate to have been in the north, as radiated in several descriptions, that is migration have been constantly from north to south. Okay, most people always migrated from north to south. It's just when you're moving, you have the tendency of moving north to south. Rarely people move east to west. It's north to south, unless if they're moving from country to country. Then they come in the west. It is notable fact that as we approach the equator, the statues of the human race grow less. But the Patagonians of South America are probably the only aborigines from the center of the earth who came out through the aperture usually designed as the South Pole, and they are called the giant race. All right, we will stop right there. The giant race. Olaf Jensen avers that in the beginning the world was created by the great architect of the universe, okay, the mighty one, so that men might dwell upon it inside surface, which has ever since been the habitation of the chosen, okay, which has ever been the habitation of the chosen. They who were driven out of the Garden of Eden brought their tradition history with them. All right. All right, the history of the people living within contains a narrative suggests the story of Noah and the ark, which we are familiar. He sailed away, as did Columbus, from a certain port to a strange land he had heard of farther northward, carrying with him all manner of beasts of field and fowl of the air, but was never heard from afterward. All right, we'll stop in page 40 because today's Monday. Got a hell of a lot of things to do tomorrow. Beloved brothers, okay, let's give the Most High a hand. We'll stop at page 40. Let me just put this here. We'll stop at age 40 to today. Tomorrow, if the mighty one want, we will go in. What it is, this version that I'm reading here is completely different than the version that I read 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. I listened to the version 2 years ago. I read another version probably 5 to 7 years ago. But the one that I listened 2 years ago is not the same as this one. This one, they keep telling you what the guys see, but they never sit there and telling you exactly what it is. All glory and praise go to the mighty one. Okay, now you start to get certain scale in your mind. You start to see the vastness of certain things. All right. Now you start to, Brethren, we just learn a little something. That's all that is. You just learn something. I didn't know this. Magnificent. Okay. Thank you for everyone that's been here with us. Tomorrow, if the mighty one says so, we will pick up in this. Hopefully everybody got a little understanding of what we learned in there. And tomorrow, beloved, we will give the let me see. will give the ingredient for the shining bath that we will do on December the 21st or the 24th. All right. You can do it 24th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Always in those times. That's the best time to do it. If you were born around December the 21st, the 23rd, the 22nd, the 24th, you were born at the right time. The 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, and then 31st, you were born at the time. If you were born between March the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 26th, 27th until 31st, you were born at the if you were born in June the 21st, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 22nd, June the 31st, you were born like at the right there when the opening of this thing happened. Okay, there is a chart that I'm reading, and I'm like, wow, I don't want to give this chart, man. They show you the good day. If you were born on those days, you were born the days are good, but certain days you are born, yikes, yikes. That's not good at all. Mm. Ay, ay, ay. They say the calendar was given to Adam when they kick his ass out of the inner earth, so to speak. You know, so. But anyway, so now, brethren, because you have the knowledge of this, and we learned that the thickness, according, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not up for debate for this. The thickness of the Earth is over 300 miles thick. Okay, the small aperture, the little pencil hole that is on top of the egg, is over 1,400 miles, which by harsh, excuse me, which is by harsh and brief measurement, is the distance between Miami, Florida, to all the way up to Rhode Island. That's how wide the aperture is, and it is like considering the tip of the tip of the tip of a pencil, of a pen. Okay, that's how it is considering. But there's much. It is said the land that is inside, or 75 or three. There's three quarters land, and 1/4 water. Okay, there's more land out there than river. And the land, the water down there, it's all fresh water. They have mild salt water, but mainly the water is fresh, cool water. Okay, and above here, it's the complete opposite: less land, okay, and more water. The Pacific Ocean is nothing but water. So a lot of things are being revealed, beloved. Then again, it's for you to learn, and stuff like that. If yours have 200 pages, must have like 198 or something like that. All those books were mingled. Okay, they take information, they explain to you what it is, they add their stuff just to confuse you, because they know you. These whole earth is yours. That's why people like you got like land. You got 75% land that are under inside, and those people want to tell you you're from Africa. That Africa, that's all you have. You don't have any more land, and on only the lower part of Africa. So I own a whole beach of sand. You literally tell me I have 1 grain of sand, and our people are fighting for that 1 grain of sand. Well, that's it. That's all I'm seeing on the surface. That's all the land we have. And that's where I'm from. I'm going to fight like hell for this little piece of land. And we're like, wait a minute. No, we own a whole beach of sand, man. Literally, the whole damn thing belongs to us. Well, if you want to, I'll take this one. I'm going to go back there, build there, and do everything there. Wait, hang on, fellow, sir. We own the whole beach. Beloved, because of the day of work, today's Monday. Is that what that is? Today's Monday, right? Yeah. Well, why am I in November? Oh, yeah, I was showing the lunar eclipse and stuff like that. Okay, that is the lane that is. Can you imagine going to Madim, brethren? Madim is Can you imagine going to Zedek? Zedek is freaking huge, man. Can you imagine going to Shabbat time? And Zedek is freaking huge. Yeah, once you start getting knowledge, you see the whole African thing run its course. You see like you're more than an African that has like one piece of continent. You realize that you didn't even know you got land. Like, okay, wait, hang on. If we even have land under the earth, we must have somewhat other planets. The whole goddamn planets belong to us, man. But we are not mature enough to go ahead and go there. Okay. Oh, Jupiter is a giant gas planet. Yeah, yes, yeah. If you put Jupiter in a bathtub, it will float. Yeah. That's a get out of here, man. It's a giant planet, giant places, unlimited amount of resources, beautiful cities upon cities, people living over there. You know, Noga, beautiful planet, beautiful people living there. The whole universe is populated, beautiful. But you people like, oh, this is a gas planet, like boiling lead. You will die if you go there. Yeah, whatever, son. And you are spending billions of dollars building telescope to looking at dead things. There's no life up there. But what the hell, you guys are spending billions looking at up there. Yeah, we're just looking the stars. They're beautiful. But they are basically useless. Oh, Madim don't exist. There's no planets out there. It's all a lie. Because NASA cannot prove it. No, NASA is hiding hits from you. They don't want you to know that. Beloved, thank you. I am quite honored. I am in the midst of mature people that I love, and above all, people that love me, people that respect me, people that I respect. Thank you for behaving as the way that we do. Okay, no argument. We learn something. You will do your own research and find out what you want, what you don't like, what you agree, what you do not agree. There's a lot of things we didn't agree with the Gentiles telling us Greek island and stuff. And there's a hell of a lot of things we agree with. We will continue study. We will continue seeking for the mighty one face. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being in the midst of me. I appreciate everything you ever done. Everything you ever sent to me, I love it. I appreciate it. I cherish it. It is because of you that I'm still in this fight. The moment the people gave up on me, I already gave up on myself. I keep telling you I don't want to do this job because I realize the extent, I realize the seriousness of this thing that I cannot effed up in it. I can't effed up in that, man. This is almost the greatest effed up you're going to do in your life, doing this job. What you're doing here. Fast, pray, repent, repeat. I'll see you folks maybe tomorrow. Shalom.